Good morning. Today is Tuesday, April 26th. Can you tell that I cleaned my table? That's what I was working on a little bit over the weekend. Didn't really feel inspired because, I haven't really felt inspired. So I started tackling my room. And my office desk over there is kind of a pile at the moment because I got some outgoing mail piling up. I got some napkin swaps I'm doing. I'm in the Inspiration Wednesday group for Donna Downey, and a lot of the girls, her last video she did for her lesson was included something about a napkin. I haven't watched it yet. So we were all posting pictures of our napkin hoard, and it inspired one of the girls to start up a little side Facebook group for it and share some napkins with each other. So I've been getting those together with some ladies. And what you do is, this is not all of mine, but I have a picture of all my napkins, and then someone will be like, well, I want 1, 3, 5, 12, and then you pack them up and find out what they have and do a swap. And that works pretty good to get yourself some new patterns that, instead of having to buy a whole package, because really, it's nice to have new patterns, but who needs that many of the exact same napkin? So if you're going to go out and buy napkins to use in projects, consider doing a swap with some people and getting yourself some new patterns, which I have a bunch of. So let me know if you want to do a swap. Just make a comment in the description box and we'll sort something out. So I got this new cup a little while back, which you're not going to be able to see because I have to drink out of it. Well, here, maybe you can see it. See, I said coffee all over it. They had another one that was brown with white lettering, but I like this one better. It's kind of nice to be able to have room. I might actually have to try to keep it this way instead of cluttering it up. So horrible. I usually had a box sitting over here on the left with scrap papers that I could dig through. I have actually pushed that off onto another table I have over here that actually isn't supposed to be there at all. I have my sewing machine on it, but I was making a point of working through my stuff and organizing and things better. Figured that way I was, even if I wasn't painting or collage working, I was at least doing something in my room that was productive. Alright, so I did do a couple of things. While I was digging around, I found this notebook that I was keeping information in, and it was boring. So I got out some drywall tape, a couple different types of drywall tape, and I added them on here. I don't know how you can see it because it's white, but this is that, there you go, it's that drywall tape that has the holes in it, the paper tape. And then over here is some of that mesh drywall tape. And then I went back across with some modeling paste, or molding paste, however you want to say it, and added a little bit of texture on there. And I'm going to come back in and do some color. The bit of blue that you can see on here was from before. I had done this with paper, and it was more of a scrapbook style. And it just wasn't me anymore, so I picked all the paper off. Well, when I did that, it peeled the very top layer of the craft covering off, made it a little screwy looking. So I had pre-started it with some gesso and whatever this blue paint was. So this feels pretty cool now. So I'm going to continue playing along with that. And then what else have I gotten? In the mail, now I'm not going to talk too much about this because I don't know if you guys are interested, but please let me know if you are. Let me get a piece of paper here. Being very retentive about making sure this stays clean. Alright, so I have been looking for, I've been seeing a lot of videos on Periscope when I was on there and YouTube where people have been doing art journaling type stuff but using a Bible. And they were using a Bible that had a wide margin and they were doing their own artwork. Well, I hate my penmanship, so I didn't see me being able to do any of that. And I don't watercolor, so I didn't see me doing any of these pretty watercolor pictures. And I didn't really want to. But I found this one on Amazon, and it showed that it was going to come out April 1st, so I put in a pre-order on it, and it took a couple weeks after that to finally ship, so I was waiting and waiting. But I like this one. Oh, let me show you the whole thing first. It's called My Creative Bible. It's got this really pretty border. This comes in like 4 or 5 different colors. There's a pink cover, and the covers are all different based off the colors. A pink one, a brown one, a florally looking one. So I will put the name of the company and stuff that you can search for if you're interested. But it has artwork in it for you to go through and color. So the reason you're in here coloring is so you can learn some of the scripture. And this is what I saw people writing in their own Bibles using, they'd read along and find a piece of scripture and then they'd do a blurb about it. Well, I don't know enough about the Bible to pick scripture out that would be worth writing down. I guess, my study tactics on this is a little different maybe than some, but I like the idea of something already being prepared for me to find and, look at and do my coloring and then maybe read a little extra about it. And the images are really nice, and they've got a really pretty one at the beginning of each of the different books, and then some of them in here are even like a full page. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one. Let me hold that spot because that's where I colored one. There's several spots in here where there's actually a full page. Here's one. A full page something to color. So I tested some stuff on it because no one had any information about what worked on these books. And let me just put this bookmark here. So I had to do a test. I actually asked Sandy Allnuck if she knew anything about them, and she suggested that, you probably should just test your own media on it. Even though most Bibles have the same kind of paper, you never know what that company chose. So I tested a Stabilo, Staedtler, Maped, Graph Peps, Faber-Castell Aquarels, I think it was, Art Planet gel pen, Office Depot gel pen, and a Jelly Roll pen. And it looks like the tripless fine liner and all that kind of thing are going to actually have a bit of bleed through. They all shadow. The Staedtler, the Stabilo, and the Maped are all going to have a bit of bleed through. The Aquarel pencils, using with a water brush, worked pretty decent. And the gel pens are working pretty decent. The Office Depot one seems to be more juicy than the Art Planet or the Jelly Roll pens. So they shadowed a lot more than the other two. This blue one here in the center is the Office Depot ones. So I started, playing around with one of the pages. And I did this one. So the lettering was done with the Jelly Roll. And then like the banner and the light, I came back in using the pencils with a little bit of water. So yes, it's going to crinkle your paper a little bit. Not too bad, but you close your book up and smush it, it's going to flatten out over time. So there's a little bit of a view of the coloring. And then I have another one in here, I think. Yeah, this one. And I need to come back in with some color for the fire, but there's those. And I used glittery ink for the word word. That looked cool. So there you go. If you want to see more about that, let me know. I will put a link in the description box for this particular edition, and then you can look for other ones similar to it. Like I said, they had other colors. But yeah, let me know if you want to see more coloring pages from that. I'm not here to tell you what type of religion you should be in, or whether you should be any religion at all, or anything like that. I'm purely showing that for those who may be interested in that kind of thing, and also because it's coloring. I enjoy coloring, and I thought that was a neat way of coloring in my life. Alright, so on to other stuff. We have those crates I showed you that I got from Hobby Lobby. These guys. And I actually ordered a whole bunch of these coasters, remember? And I had some ideas in my head of what I wanted to use them for, but I haven't implemented any of them. But they fit perfect in this little holder. So I was like, what can I do with that? I thought, well, maybe I can do something fun on each one of these. And, you know, like a technique or whatever. And then I realized there's someone out there who actually has a technique thing going on in her little books. And it's Kat Han, and it's called Mixed Media Morsels. And I'll link to her first video where she's doing this. And she gives you like a prompt and gives a video and shows you what to do. So the very first one is to use plastic wrap background. Now I recommend you watch her second video and then watch the first video, because the second video starts off telling you some information that is good to use when you were doing the first video. And mainly you need to gesso your paper before starting her technique, which she didn't realize she had forgotten, and she didn't say something until the second video. But, so there's number one. I don't have saran wrap. I have press and seal, and I don't think it works the same way because it's not going to slide. It's going to press into stuff. So I need to go get myself a cheap roll of saran wrap or something. But I prepped the card with the gesso because, of course, I watched video 2 first. Video 2 is collage background, so I grabbed my papers like she told me to and made myself a collage. And that black thing in the center is actually an M, and I don't know, it kind of made it look like a blob, didn't it? But it is an M. So, I'm not going to do videos on these processes because she's doing a video, so I think that her little technique should be watched through her channel. But I will show you what I've done with them. The next one's alcohol. I wrote on the back of these so I'd know what I was going to do. A glue resist, tissue paper, inchies, circles, houses, whimsical birds, masking technique, torn paper, painted circles. Obviously I've started this late because she's gotten all the way up to 17. Now I did skip one. It was something about making a journal cover, and I'll have to watch and see what that's about for sure. But since I'm not doing mine in an actual book, I can't make a cover, can I? But I can maybe use that information on something different. It just won't be on one of these cards. Mosaic background, butterflies, and using napkins. Which that's kind of handy since I got all my napkins out, right? So those will fit in there, and if I have any other fun technique type things or another person's series of fun that can come in here, then they can go in too. But this will give me plenty of room if they're fat. You know, got stuff stuck all over them. So there's that. And I did some stuff in my garden book. Not really a whole lot of exciting things, but this is my garden book. I have 2 garden books actually. That binder I got from Target because of course they lured me in. This one. I decided to use this as a gardening journal. So in the monthlies I write in here when I've planted something, or if it's rained, or did we do weeding. And I actually need to write in it from this weekend. But this way you can see, you know, I planted cabbage on such and such day. It should have done something by this week. You know, is it growing better? That kind of thing. Just to help keep an idea of your watering schedule and that kind of stuff. So that's that part. And then I originally had set this up where I would use, I've shown this a long time ago, I think. But I would use this area. It says log. These were printouts from Moleskine. You can print these out and add them to your books to use for journaling stuff. Well, I never kept up with it because I hadn't done anything out there yet other than create my butterfly garden. And so I drew this little pattern here to show what I planted. And, you know, I thought, well, this could be used differently than how I originally intended. See, I've got my veggie area there. This one here, I've got a little, this right here actually is being replaced by that book over there, but this was prior to that book, so I'll just leave it in here. But I don't need to use that part for that anymore. And then I have it sectioned out by what kind of plant. So I've got trees and shrubs, and I had gone around and, like this one I purchased, this is a gardenia, so I put this in here with its plant facts And then I have the little tag from the store. And then I have a butterfly bush, and there's its facts. Well, then there was things in my yard when we bought the house that I had to find out what they were. So this particular tree is called a crepe myrtle, and I have a picture so I know what it was. And we had this bush out there. Well, now I have a better picture of this bush because I have a picture of it with it flowering. Then we have that one, and so there's more spots for that. And then we have bulbs and tubers, so I've got irises. And I haven't wrote anything else down. But, you know, you get yourself a bag of plants from some home store. This one had 5 bulb things in it. And I thought, well, rather than try to write that down or hook that through one's little papers, why don't you just put holes in it? Make it one of your pages. So I did that with that one. And then I realized I should have shifted it and done it a little differently, so the next ones are a little more intelligently done. But this way you have the brochure, essentially, that came with the plant. You've got your planting instructions still. You don't have to write all this stuff right, you know, back out again. All your charts there, you know, much easier. And it fits in here, so why not? That's a gladiola, which I've planted, but I haven't planted all of them, so I have the card still on the bag, so I don't forget what's in it. We have flowers. This is, all these printouts were on, you know, the Moleskine store. So this is to help you figure out what kind of plant you have. That's one in the yard. You know, I've got these in the yard. Planted that one. You know, just a way of keeping track of what you've got out there. And then also with the some of the plant thingies, they're like this. This is not something that's easy to punch a hole in, because if I were to put it like this, I'm punching through some of maybe the important information. And if I just punch here, it's going to flop around everywhere and be annoying. So I put a sheet card thing in there. So I've got quite a few stuffed in there. This came off some buckets that didn't have one of these. So I just stuck that there, and I've got the name so I can look it up. And then, of course, you know, you can pretty up your dividers. And then we have our fruit and veggies. We have blueberries, and we tried garlic, and we're trying some potatoes. And there's some other ones that just aren't in there at the moment, because they're actually in the flower bed, so I can remember what I put in there. And we have a peach tree and some tomato plants. And then back here, this is just receipts for things I bought. Like I bought a rain barrel. Not a real rain barrel. I got a 50-gallon plastic drum that I need to add a spigot to and turn it into a rain barrel. But it's actually full of water already. So I got to figure out a way of getting the water out. I think I might get some kind of a pump thingy that can go down in the top and just kind of pump the handle and cause the water to come out. Siphon out. You know, like you do, like in the movies where they're showing the people stealing the gas. They put the hose down the gas tank hole and suck the gas up. Well, I'm obviously not going to do that with that water, because that's, who knows what's in there. But I think there's a thing I can buy that will essentially do the same thing. And then back here was, when I've lived other places, I had plants in my garden that I wasn't able to take and bring with me, because you can't move all of your military housing plants everywhere you go. But I liked what I had there, and so I wanted to remember it so that I could buy them later. So I need to find one of these. This is a daylily. These are irises, or not iris, I'm sorry. These are lilies, oriental lilies. So I need to look for, I have some, but I need to see if they're going to come up what I think. And then here were some other things I found in one of the gardening magazines as I was going through that I thought would be nice to have. So that's in my little wish for kind of thing. And then I have these 2 fun fabric pages back here that have a resist, which I think I'm going to end up taking out and using for something completely different. It works like this. You know, you paint it and it doesn't show up on the colored part. So, you know, some of those things stick out a little bit because I punched them wrong in the beginning. But for the most part, everything fits. And it goes nicely on this shelf over here, which, you know, doesn't require a whole lot of effort to reach over and get. It's not something I use every day, so it doesn't mean it has to be front and center all the time. And so let me see, I'm quick looking around, see if I've forgotten anything. Oh, 2 things I bought while I was doing some shopping for my daughter's birthday. And I think I forgot to mention them. This wasn't from her birthday, but I did find this on sale at Hobby Lobby, and I couldn't pass it up. It's a visual journal with the watercolor paper. I thought this would come in handy to try and do some stuff in. It's a nice size. Not sure what I want to use it for. Oh my gosh, I can't even grab the paper. Ugh. So there you go. It's good thick paper. It's going to take a lot of abuse because it's watercolor. So we'll see. And what I found out, once you get this thing off, it's got this really neat kind of cover on it. I don't know if you guys have seen these before. It looks like someone just dropped a bunch of bubbles onto it. So, cool cover. And then I found this one. This one I did find when I was shopping for her birthday. This came from Books A Million. And it is a stitch-bound journal book with this really pretty, I think it's leather. It might be fake leather, but it's still cool. Pretty embossed cover here, and the inside is full of all this really neat looking handmade paper. And I don't know how you can see, but it's got kind of fibers in it, and obviously the stitches are the signatures that you see inside, so when you get to the center of the signature you have the string. So just like all the fun hand-bound books that are out there, I don't know if I'm going to write in this or doodle in it or what, but look, see, there's some of the fibers. I might need to put like a small coating of something if I'm going to do certain things to it, but that's okay. I thought it was really cool and I had to have it. And that was all I bought. I didn't buy any coloring books while I was there. I was pretty good. Well, I think that's about it. I do believe I'm going to be doing a Google Hangouts today, obviously, because this is Monday, not actually Tuesday. And I can chit-chat with the girls about some stuff. I'm going to work on some organizing. Oh, I did do one other thing. I got another K-Cup, what's it called? Keurig pod K-Cup thing. I can't think what they're called. They go in my machine. And you could get this drawer. Yeah, it's a K-Cup drawer. It's an organizer drawer. And I had two already, and I bought a third one finally. And I finally gotten most of my washi organized into those three drawers. I would like a fourth drawer, but it won't fit where I keep them. So I'm going to have to tell myself no. And because I have no more drawer space, then I can't have any more washi, right? No, of course not. I have those tall, rolly drawer systems that I have some washi in one of the drawers. And it has like random scrap paper in with it too. So I'll just move the scrap paper and they can become a washi drawer. And knowing my luck, at some point that whole thing might end up turning into washi. No, seriously, I'm not going to do that. But I have a couple of boxes that are designated as, you know, specific washi. This one's my shiny washi. My gold and glitter washi's in this one. And then my other one is a bunch of skinny washi. And then like this one over here, one of those boxes I bought, I rubbed this down with the Daddy Vans polish and it came up really nice. This one I have washi tape in it that is thinner that I thought would be good to use in my little journal planner thingy. So I put that in there. You know, easy to grab, accessible stuff. Alright, and now I think I'm done blabbing. So I hope you're all having a great day. If you're new to my channel, you can please hit that subscribe button down below and you can follow along on my adventures and my art, whatever I managed to get done during the week. So anyway, please feel free to comment, ask questions, let me know what you think about the stuff I talked about today. And as always, you can find me on my other social media via the information box below. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.